All right, Jen. Before I let you go,
Yep.
I'm going to read off. Crap. I'm going to read off this question. This person is. I'm even going to give you a shout out, young man. This question comes from Freddie. When should you email a college coach, and what should you email them?
Yeah, so I think when you're first starting to reach out to coaches, you can start, I'd say probably by your sophomore year if you want to. That might be even a little early. I think when you're a freshman, though, don't worry about that stuff yet. Enjoy the game, continue to develop. Don't start stressing about recruiting and what division you're going to go when you're a freshman. I think really take the time to know that you really want to play in college and keep developing your skills. Sophomore, junior year, especially, I think junior year, if you've had limited interest, you should start reaching out by junior year, and then you can send your highlight tape. So when you're reaching out to coaches, make sure you keep it short. Your highlight tape, I would go no more than 5 minutes, honestly. And then also have full game film ready because as a college coach, when you're watching highlights, of course, it's just highlights. So
Absolutely.
highlights can be very deceiving. So just know if the coach is interested from your highlight reel, they're going to ask you for more film. So you need to have full games, pick your best games that you've played, and have those ready to send in a full attachment, no cuts, no edits, because a coach needs to see you play an entire game in an actual offense, an actual defense, an actual system. So be ready with that. I would definitely include any accomplishments you had. Any accomplishments, what team you play for, what AAU, how they can contact you, your AAU coach. Because remember, college coaches cannot reach out to you until I believe it's September 1st of your junior year. So you can email them, they can see the email, and they might not be able to respond. There's a ton of NCAA rules that don't allow coaches to respond. So make sure that you put your AAU coach's contact there because they can reach out to your AAU coach and let them know that they're interested.
Mm. You said a lot there, but the
Yeah,
overarching thing that you said that just kind of matches what you said earlier, and
right.
that is taking initiative, work.
Yes.
Like understand that it's going to require work. So there's a lot of individuals, even as it relates to highlight reels or
Mm-hmm.
mixtapes or what some may call them. Some individuals sit on their hands and say, "Well, my coach has the footage, or I don't have this, or have that." We
Oh,
live in a
yep.
digital world now where you're shooting videos for Snapchat and Instagram. You might as well make sure that you put yourself in the best
Right.
position possible
Have your
to get
parents,
recruited.
yeah, have your parents record every game you play on their iPhone, right? I mean, iPhone footage is probably better than some of the old video cameras they use. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jen. So from that same person, he's asking the question about advice in walking on. Do you have any advice about walking on to a college basketball team?
yeah, I think walking on, you should definitely reach out to the coach before you go to that school. I mean, if you're already committed to go to that school for academic purposes, then you're just gonna have to take the risk of them saying no. Again, you have to remember that there's only so many players a coach is allowed to have on their roster. But if you know ahead of time that you want to walk on and that's going to impact what school you choose, I would write to the coach. Let them know that you're interested in being a walk on or even a practice player. A lot of schools, if you're not a walk on, you could be a practice player and you can help them out. You'll still get gear. It's still a pretty good gig and you still get to be, affiliated with the team. So in terms of walking on, it's just reaching out.
All right. So I have a question from Reagan Gray, and it says, "Does playing other sports like football help with staying in shape in high school?"
Yeah, I definitely think it does. When I was, growing up, I played as many sports as I possibly could. I grew up playing soccer, volleyball, softball, and basketball. So when I got to high school, still played all the sports, and I think it really does help. The sports and the skills, they all transfer, right? So having good eye-hand coordination in softball is going to help you in basketball, whether you believe it or not. Being able to run in soccer is going to help you when you're in basketball and running up and down the court. So I think it's huge if you can still play as many sports as you can. I actually, my senior year, of college after my basketball career was done, I actually jumped on the softball team at Quinnipiac, which was a Division I softball team for about 6 weeks. I was not very good, but they needed players, and I was still loved softball almost just as much as basketball, not quite, but almost. And I loved getting to learn a whole new sport. And again, I was in that position where I wasn't the best, but I learned from everybody around me, and overall, great experience.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And if I can add on to that, as far as football is concerned, I know that football just naturally is going to make
Mm-hmm.
you more physical. All right,
Right.
so it used to make me so upset in high school. I still remember these days where we used to play basketball, like try out for the basketball team, and then there were like after we tried out for like 2 weeks, the football team, the guys that wanted to play basketball but was playing football because the seasons kind of overlapped, then they came in,
Right.
and I was just so upset. But I mean, it is what it is. They were a lot more physical. They were a lot more decisive because in their normal play, not being decisive can get you laid out. Okay, it can get you really hurt. So to make a decision and to go with it is something that's helpful in all sports as well. But again, that physicality that you learn with playing football and being in shape, that's something that you're not going to get as readily in basketball. So it'll definitely translate and help you. David, last name Boateng. He writes, how do you make an elite mixtape without a camera? Is that a trick question?
That is a good question.
Let's skip that one, man. You need a camera, dude. You need to find something you're going to record it. Let's skip that one. But no, within that same question, he says, how can I be a top basketball recruit and go D1 without AAU basketball? I like that.
Without AAU, so that's going to be, in my opinion, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by not playing AAU. But I understand that AAU costs money, and not everybody has the means to be able to play AAU basketball. But you have to realize you're starting, again, at a disadvantage. So if you are not going to play AAU, if you choose not to, you better make sure that your high school team is a top team in your league, in your state, whatever it is, because, again, not playing AAU, you're already getting less opportunities to be seen by coaches. Most coaches find players on the AAU circuit, and then they follow you to high school. So you're kind of doing things backwards, and you're taking a little bit of a risk. But, again, if you reach out and you're good enough, they're going to find you regardless.
You said your team better be a good team in high school.
Right.
You know what? You know what else better be happening? You better not be asking for anything like Christmas money, a brand new bike, a car. Save that money and invest in yourself. Brand new J's. I want the new KDs. None of that. Like if you're serious about playing at a higher level and AAU basketball is afforded to you, but you just don't have the resources, then you got to make that sacrifice, much like Jim was saying early on. So I think that's big. I mean,
that's a good point. Yeah, very good point.
Jen, thanks so much for spending this time with us. We learned quite a bit throughout this interview. Things like how to get exposure in high school, how to utilize AAU basketball, what AAU programs we should be a part of or what teams we should sign up for. Then you also talked about, winning mentalities and D1 mentality as well. Beyond that, you also talked about battling through adversity, how to play the role that your team needs you to play and not necessarily the role that your ego wants you to play, and much, much more. I definitely appreciate it, but before I let you go, I just want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate it so much. The last thing I want to leave you with is I've been reading Jay Billis's Toughness book, and a quote out of there that really hit home with me was concentrate on what you're doing while you're doing it. And this really just means it can apply to any aspect of life. For basketball, be present in the moment. Guys, you're going to realize how fast college basketball goes. If you're lucky to get 5 years like I did, most players only 4, and you're never going to get to redo anything. So when you're going to practice every day, as much as maybe one day you don't feel like going, know that it goes like that. It goes so quickly. You're never going to get the opportunity to play that game again, play the game you love. So make sure that you're not taking anything for granted. Be grateful for the relationships you form. These are going to be lifelong relationships. You're going to be established with that university. They are going to give you so many opportunities. So just make sure you're not taking it for granted. You're so lucky that you're even getting the opportunity to play college sports in the first place. So that's all I got. But you guys can find me. I have a YouTube channel as well. I do a lot of tutorials, some WNBA stuff on there, vlogs, pretty much everything, all basketball, college basketball tips. And then my Instagram, I've been posting more like tactical workouts on there. So you can actually go and see, if you want a ball handling workout, if you want a shooting workout, you can kind of swipe through. And that's what I've been doing on Instagram. That's Jen Fay B-Ball. My YouTube channel is just my name, Jen Fay. And then I also have a website where I do some Zoom training. Obviously, with COVID and everything going on right now, players have had a hard time getting access to a gym. So you can literally pick up a ball, get in your backyard. We'll do some ball handling drills, all that, which is jenfaybasketball.com. But I appreciate you guys. And whatever you do, make sure you graduate at the top of your class. Hoop Loudy.
Hoop Loud is.